right, now I'm live. All right, you guys. Sorry, I don't know why it does that. I'm pretty sure I used the right link. And for some reason, there's something that happens. Hey guys, finally, we can connect. I was there talking about myself again. And as you can see, I already started the sketch. I was wondering why there's no people. I was asking you guys what's the best time zone for you guys, but I guess a better link is what's needed more than the time zone. So sorry guys. What next time that I do a live, I'll double check the link and I'm gonna factor that in. But there's a bug here that's happening. It's not just me for sure. So yeah, hey, welcome guys again to this live. I'm going to edit the link here, making sure that I have the right one. It seems to be the same link for some reason, which is kind of weird. But yeah. But all well that ends well is the say, right? So you guys are here, I'm here. We can all talk now and enjoy. You have an echo. Does everyone has an echo? Bart, could it be? How would I have an echo? Wait, if maybe I can close this. Let me close this. Let me see if that fix the echo for you. Is anybody else has an echo? Technology. What? Give me a second. No, we're good. Let me know, guys. Mine sounds good here. All right. Sorry, Bart. Might be something on your part. Maybe try to refresh the page. Sometimes that does the trick. So hi guys, and welcome again to this first Draw With Me, Paint With Me session where you get to paint with me and ask me any and all questions that you have while doing so. I'm also going to talk my way through whatever I do. So yeah, let's keep these casuals. I would love to do at least one of these every month, which are more casual than the workshops and kind of serve a different purpose. It's more about connecting with one another, but also there is a learning factor kind of here where we can ask questions and still learn, just more casually, I suppose. So what was I saying? I was saying before that I'm working on a new mini program to help you guys build your art habit. I called it the Art Habit Starter Kit. And it's going to be added to the learning Daily 5 for now, as I don't know where else I would place it. And essentially it's going to be over the lapse of 7 days, giving you a few exercises to build your habit, essentially. It's going to be available for everyone starting tomorrow, I believe. So I'll let you know, guys. Also, we'll be inviting a lot more people tomorrow. We're starting our grand opening tomorrow. If you guys know some people that would like to try and haven't tried a DPA, tomorrow starts as the perfect day. They'll have a 7-day trial, which I never did that before. And I might never do it again, if I'm being honest. So if you know some people that were on the fence, wanted to try, but wasn't sure, now is probably the best time. They'll have a 7-day trial. That 7-day trial will also give them to become a founding member, which all of you guys are. And after that, they will simply enroll and become full-time members. And I'm pretty excited because this is the chapter that it's like the closing of a chapter that we started more than a year ago, I think, or maybe a year ago, with that move that we did to that Mighty Network thingy. So I'm pretty happy about it. Awesome. Thanks for letting me know, Bart. How many of you guys are painting with me right now? I'm curious. And what else was I saying? I was saying that in October, we'll do a full month about lighting. So starting tomorrow, essentially in October. It's crazy. It's already in October. And the year passed so fast. But anyhow, so we'll talk about lighting like we did talk about coloring this month. Every month, essentially, we'll have a new theme, if I haven't said that already, and learn kind of like a foundation skill each time. But not only that, but having a workshop, some exercises, and all of this is going to help you also finish the learning path. Because that's my goal now. I want all of you guys to finish the learning path, to finish the pro module, and then to join me into the IFI program. Because I really want all of you guys to develop the skill to be able to paint from imagination and be on your way to either create the kind of art that you're able to imagine and or start a career if that's what you want to do, or just having the skills and tools to create freely, essentially. So one of my decisions to help you do that was this year to create these workshops. And now every time we have a workshop, these workshops are essentially going to have what I call companion classes inside the learning path. So I'll be able to tell you next month while we're doing the lighting, for example, to go revise the lighting module into the skill path. So it's going to be a perfect example for you to go there. And since we're going to do that every month, my goal is to help you finish all parts of the learning path within 12 months. Bart, you say great proper lighting with colors and shades adds a lot of value. Yes. Mixing the two of them is really key. And that's another part that I would like to do probably beginning of next year, is to add an entire new module about how light and color work together. But next month will be probably just concentrating on light, value only. I called it dark corners and bright lights, cinematic lighting. So we'll concentrate on that. All right, I'm not gonna polish too much that sketch. I might just give it a little twist. And let's create the base for it. So in the spirit of explaining what I'm doing, I always love to start, especially my portrait, with like one clear shape to help me, like inside that shape I'll add skin tone, hue variations, shadows and light, but always start with like one flat color like this. And then what I like to do is to attach every single layers that I have onto it. And also always start with the background, which in this case seems to be black. I guess I'm going to keep it black, but I might keep it black and maybe a little bit of blue, just to add a touch. a touch of complementary color. And I might just put them smaller, just a little bit. Oops. 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 There we go. All right. Now let's do a layer for the hair. Doing these kind of studies, I always love to try to push the lights and colors a little bit. So I'm looking at the hair right now and it's like grayish, but I'm like, should I push it towards the grayish, towards the blue, towards the yellow? Like he has yellow in the beard, so that seems like a given, but there's also like a touch of blue, I feel like, in the light. So I don't know, I might try blue and have like a blue gray. Maybe it's too saturated though. You know what, maybe the yellow actually. Yeah, I think yellow fits better. I'll use some blue for the lights. That might do the trick. All right. What else? I trust that all of you guys had a good weekend. I had, like I was sharing in the community, I had my tournament of round net. It was pretty awesome. It was pretty fun. I'm gonna add some yellow tones to that skin tone, especially on the forehead. Just seems more pale there. And I'm going to add some redness around the eyes. I always like to boost the redness around the eyes a lot more than needed. And then I come back afterwards and kind of tone it down. I do the same thing with the nose. It's also like these graphic shapes really help to just create interest. Sometimes if you use too much softness, you know, you lose the structure of your portrait or really whatever subject that you're painting. So it's always important, I think, to have a few hard edge in there as well. So that's for the hue differences for the face. I'm gonna paint the sclera and eyes. Not too bright. I might choose the same color of the hair. I'll be adding some shadow into this afterwards, but for now, I believe this is going to work just fine. And he's got like a blue-gray eye. Some sort of. Maybe it's like more on the green side. It's very subtle to the difference. Maybe less subtle than this, but I'm going to keep it subtle. Let's add some variation of color into the beard already. You got that yellow part right there, which is super interesting. I might add just a few more here at the extremities. And I'm going to add shadows right away. I'm going to pick up the background color and just kind of like soften up a little bit this. Just a little bit. Eyebrows that I forgot to paint. I'm going to add this color and put it in transparency a little. Something like that. Yeah. I'm just thinking, do I want to add more color variation? Because once I start adding the shadows and the light, then it's like rendering and then adding more details. But yeah, no, I think I'm good for now. I'll be adding lights afterwards. So multiply layer. The background is black, which tells me that the shadow should be desaturated for the most part. Fairly dark. And he's got these very deep shadows around the eyes, corner of the eyes like this. These are almost like occlusion shadows. Not totally, but actually not at all. They're cast shadows, but they're very small. You have your cast shadow of the nose on the beard. Something like that. I'm gonna have like, these are like the darkest shadow. I'm gonna just kind of play with like almost transparency a little bit into the eyes, casting some shadow here. And then you have like these that are getting some shadows as well. My sketch line being kind of rough, they also help with the shadows here. I think I can use the soft round brush here for some of the corners, like this corner right here. And you have the entire head. Like another way to like approach it is to use a selection like I'm doing now. I'm going to select a hard edge shadow essentially, and I'm going to use the soft round brush to fill some shadow. So you get like kind of like the both worlds where I can play with some hard shadows while having the same softness. There's kind of like a shadow here, like a mass of the shadow. The hair, there's that kind of shadow there. I'm just gonna place shape for the hair. I'm gonna come and play with it afterwards. It's like kind of like messy, and I'll keep it messy. And I'll be adding tones and highlights on top of it. It will give the illusion that I'm adding more details than I actually am. But for now, just like random shape almost is what I'm adding. And you have some shadows at the base. I'll be adding details afterwards. All right, so I have a good base now. I'm going to add some highlights. For the highlights, actually, before I do this, this eye seems to have more shadow. Yeah, a lot more actually. Even this one should have a little bit more. Before adding the highlights, I'm always asking my question if I want to do the highlights on top of my lines or under my lines. And I don't have a clear answer for this. Sometimes if I want to take my time, add some roundness, I'm going to put the highlights under my line. But ultimately, my lines will kill the effect of having highlights and light because they're black spot under the light. So I think I'm going to put it on top today just to save time. So that means that I'm starting to render right away, essentially. So I'll do this. I need to find some of the tones that I want. Just a little bit more light here. I'm really just adding like patches of lights. This is the place, and I was talking about that earlier. I don't know if I was talking about myself before when nobody was on the call. Or if you guys were there, but I was saying that with older people, what's nice is that I feel like I can just experiment a little bit more and be kind of like faster about it, because they have all these textures on the skin, so you don't have to be like purely realistic or following exactly your reference. You can just kind of like brush here, brush there, see if it creates like some smaller details in the skin tone. If you're not being careful, Lauren, that happens to me a lot, you're gonna start like rendering some weird shapes. But I think there's like a happy middle point where you don't have to care too much about your line work and get some pretty interesting results. Trying to get the subsurface scattering by adding some more saturated colors where the bag of the eyes are, because they kind of like they're folding, and then the light goes in through it and it creates these interesting lights because the skin is translucent. Here I feel like that shadow should just continue a little bit more. Get darker here, like darker tones there. Same thing here, that's kind of darker. And even the eye, I'm going to take that and create a little bit more shadow, darker tones. All right, let's keep pushing. For me, the art of rendering is truly, and I know I repeat that all the time, but I'll repeat it one more time, is truly about pushing light and shadow. Like, it's by making decisions where you want to place your lights and push them and add your shadows, that it essentially creates the form. And that's a huge part of stylization, actually. And funny enough, I'm also preparing an extra kind of like event that will probably be in November about stylization. I know it's a huge topic that a lot of you guys would like to have more clarity on, so I'm going to try to have an kind of like a long weekend event for us to sit down and talk about stylization and how I like to approach it. So for old people, like what I'm doing right now, I think it's worth mentioning. Like, I'm keeping my brushstroke really rough, and I'm allowed to do this because he's got such a textured skin that it creates details that essentially look fine. And I think that's one of the things that artists should know when they paint older people, is it gives you a pass of being able to just take your time without having to stress, is the perfect brush stroke, is it the perfect rendering? You can't just go a little bit looser because there's textures, and I don't know, to me it's interesting at the very least. You guys let me know what you think. As usual, if you have any question also, guys, please don't let me blabber about myself the entire time. Shoot your question as long as you have them. I'll be happy to answer them. You can put a capital Q, but I think we're like so little people now, that should be fine. If you just put them at all time, I'll be able to know there's a question. So rendering. And adding some highlights. Another thing here that I'm doing, worth explaining, is I'm adding the highlight on the nose. I'm not going to go directly with the brighter value. I'm gonna get that orange tone that I have right now and kind of like test the water with it, placing the shapes, and I'll be able to sculpt essentially my nose. Do you guys hear my son? He's having fun with my wife. I'll be able to sculpt it, and then afterwards I'll add some higher values that are supposed to be there. So I feel like that's supposed to be pushed a little bit more. I keep looking there because I also have another screen and I can see it in smaller. If you don't have two screen, on Photoshop you can click on the window, arrange, and new window. It's going to pop up a new window, and this is essentially the same window, So whatever happens here also happens there. So you're able to have like a smaller view of your illustration. So that's, again, it's arrange and then new window, essentially. It's a very nice trick that will help you tremendously. Got my son that's running in the house. So just adding a few values here and there, and I'm going to use this, I think, to add some little bit of highlight on the folds of the head. There's kind of like a dimple here. That's interesting. Trying to push that a little bit could be interesting. So yeah. Thank you so much, Sherry. I appreciate it. Yeah, I like it too. I really like being able to paint skin tone that have like a lot of different colors. Just makes me happy for some reason. Sometimes I feel like people that are not artists, they just don't understand us. Like, sometimes I'm just questioning myself. I'm like, why am I so happy just painting colored skin? But it makes me happy. I really like it. It's just so beautiful. Add in a bit of texture. I'll be pushing the beard afterward. I just want to make sure that the light on the skin is good enough. And yeah, who's with me painting at the same time? Cherry, are you painting? Or just looking? I'm curious. Also, I think I asked earlier, but I think nobody answered. What is your time zone right now, guys? What time is it where you are? And is this a good time? Are you guys at work? I won't tell, promise. It's like I was saying, unfortunately, this is the best time for me. And I really wish I could catch as many people in the academy to be able to watch these. Cherry, are you using a hard edge brush for most of this, or a mix between that and a soft round brush? I'm doing mostly a hard brush here because he has a lot of texture on his face, and it allows me to just push that texture even more. So yeah, so I'm pushing this as much as I can with the hard edge brush. Bart says it's 3 p.m. Postponing work a bit to watch this. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So I'm assuming you're in Europe as well, since it's 3:46 for me as well. Paula, you said I was painting, but my pencil battery went low, and now I'm just watching you. Oh, technology, like the link that I save. Well, thanks for sticking around. Appreciate it. Rudy, say same as you, but I'm late on the painting. That's all good. That's all good. I'm trying to give myself like I got another 13 minutes. I'm gonna try to have these as long as 2 hours next time. Just today, my son is sick and my wife is sick, so they've been very nice to provide me with some time to be able to do this live, but I'm not gonna be able to stay on this call too long. They'll need my help as well. If any of you guys have kids, I'm sure you'll understand. And if you don't, I mean, it makes perfect sense. So I'm gonna start pushing some of the highlights for the beard. And at the same time, having like a short amount of time for painting is helpful. Helps to just practice your, what is it called? Brush work, but I'm looking for brush economy. Is that the term? Essentially trying to do like less brush stroke and be more efficient with it. Brush efficiency. Push this. I feel like this should be a little bit more like the skin color here. There's like transparency of the hair. So yeah. Let's push this a little bit more, adding some more colors. Bart say, just watching, liking the sketching way of painting, gradually building the details. Yeah, thanks. And yeah, this is exactly how I like to paint, actually. Like, of course I love to paint from imagination, but being able to do these kind of like quick studies of very, very fun like pictures, because essentially like what I'm doing is I'm repainting the work of a photographer here, you know, let's be honest. I cannot claim that this painting is mine, especially not the subject. I mean, the painting is mine, but the subject is not. But I really like it because it's an exercise of purely enjoying the process of painting without having to do too many decision making, which sometimes is the decision making that it's just the hardest. Like there's a lot of beginner, when I tell them that, they're like, what? But here's what I say. Usually I say that rendering is the easiest part. The sketching is the hardest part. And it's not because sketching is hard, it's also because sketching is finding ideas, you know, perspective and composition, and all of these things requires you to think and try stuff, and if it doesn't work the first time, try again. And sometimes you just want to have a session where the subject has already been created. All you have to do is kind of like create your own interpretation of it, and it's deeply relaxing. I'm sure you guys would agree. And Bart, you're from Amsterdam. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Sherry, you say, you know, I'm just enjoying watching right now. Eastern time zone. I'll be at work right now usually, but I'm on vacation there. That's great. Enjoy your vacation. Enjoy your vacation. I'm myself planning a trip to visit Spain in a month. Kind of a vacation with some of my friends from Montreal. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you say, hope they feel better soon. Definitely understand how that goes. Yes. Yes, you know, when you're a parent, you don't really have the luxury to be sick. And that's why I don't want to let my wife longer than I need. Because taking care of a 2-year-old is no vacation. So I'll be there to help her in a bit. Before that, what would I want to say? I want to say something. I don't want to add too much details, but I want to finish it. So I'm trying to just make the right decisions here. I might have to leave it a little bit more rough than I wish I'd had at the beginning, but it's still going to look good. Just adding some of those highlights and the beard. Here we have a mix of like color. Like this should be kind of like darker here, and then just like kind of like a mix. Like when the hair is like mixing like this, we tend to see like what I'm talking about is here, like right there. We think about like adding like a lot of details sometimes, and I've been trying for the past few months now to, when I see these things, to simplify it into one value. That's what I'm trying to do here. It's like a base value. Like this is supposed to be like kind of darker, and I might actually use a little bit of saffron brush here. to kind of like darken this a little bit more. But if you do it like right now, if I leave it like this, it's gonna look like I painted on top of it. And I don't want that. So now I need to bring back some hard edges to make sure that it doesn't look unfinished. So that's why when you're using a hard edge brush, it's actually easier for as long as your brush strokes are intentional. And if you're using a soft round brush, then you need to be able to bring back these hard edges to not lose the form, which is essentially what I'm trying to do now. The eyes here are too bright. Let's put them down. Thanks, David, and thanks for the answer on the brushes earlier. Makes sense. Absolutely welcome. You are welcome. Thank you guys for being here today. It's not too bad. I know I could put a lot more details, but I feel like I'm gonna run out of time real soon. Here's a little trick here for everybody that paints hair. If you take a color of your hair and you paint it with the background, and then you take that color, and then you're able to paint at the outer rim of this on the edges, and it's gonna create like automatic transparency essentially, which is a nice trick to round up your shapes. That's what I'm doing right now. It creates transparency automatically. Try to I forgot to add that highlight on the nose now, which I'm going to add as a shape. I'm going to finish with just adding a few highlights here and there. Just to make sure that there's a few places that pop. feel like I want to desaturate the eyes a little bit. I'm going to use a color blending mode color. Just paint on top of that. I don't want them so blue. That's better. And I think that's going to be it for today. It's hard to stop when you like it. But truthfully, this part would get me a little bit more time if I wanted to really push it more. And I'm satisfied okay with this one, I guess. Just a little bit more. Thank you, Bart. Appreciate it. To be honest, like the limit of time here also like helps you push things that ultimately I would have took more time to do, like such as the highlights and putting certain details. So if you want to try that, it will help you as well. Because essentially what I'm doing is I force myself to push to a final-ish looking result into less time. But I could have approached the same illustration taking more of my time and arriving to like similar final, but with a lot more time, just because I would have took more time. So I'm saying the word time way too much, but what I'm trying to say is when you put a time limit, it forces you to make choices that ultimately will get you a result faster. And I feel like often we approach a painting and we think that it's not finished, so we're like, okay, I'm going to push more of the shadows and push more of the shadows. And the shadows still look wonky to me, so I'm going to push more shadows. And you lose a lot of time redoing the same step over and over and over and over and over again. Where sometimes, not for all paintings, but sometimes I think it's worth to approach it in a way that's like, so that's it. That's all the time that I had for the shadows. I got to move on to the lights now. So be it with the shadows. And then by adding lights, it helps to push the form. It helps to push the rendering. And ultimately, it gives you a result that looks more finished, even though your shadows were not exactly where you wanted them when you finish. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today, guys. I think not perfect, but acceptable. Last quick look, but yeah. So thanks for joining me live, guys. Next time I'm going to try to have at least an hour and a half to 2 hours so that I can actually take more of my time on some of the stuff and push the details a little bit more. I would love to see the results of your portrait. I'll be posting mine later on today in the community. If you do it, please post them as well. Matter of fact, you could I was about to see you could put it at 2 places, but that might just be the wrong way to do it. Just post them in the community for now. It'd be great. Maybe post them also in the comments of this event, but I don't think people will see it. So just post it in the community. And yeah, looking forward to redo this again. I'm rebuilding the schedule now, so you'll be able to look at the events. My goal is to always have at least like 2 to 3 months of events scheduled. It's just I've been working really hard to open the gates for the new DPA to some more people. So I've been doing a bunch of stuff that are not very creative. But now I'm getting to the point that I can finally start planning. So I'll be doing some planning. So if you keep your eye on your calendar in the DPA, in the Paintable app, you'll be able to see the events start to show up now. So there's one for October. We're going to talk about lighting. There's one for November. We'll talk about portrait. For December, I'm going to plan that very soon. You'll be able to see it. And we'll have some more Paint With Me as well. Plus all the other good stuff that comes in the new community. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Rudy, Bart, Paula. Have a good day, guys. Everybody else that's also there with me. I think that's all for now, but we had some more people at the beginning. I guess we lost them maybe when I lost the other link. Yeah, that's a shame. Anyhow, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you in the community, guys. Have a good day.